When a woman gives you mixed signals, your immediate instinct is to seek clarity. Mainstream relationship advice tells you to communicate your feelings or double down on your efforts to win her over. Doing so instantly destroys your perceived value in her psychological matrix. You analyze her sudden coldness for hours, reviewing every single past interaction to find a hidden mistake. You feel trapped in an endless loop, desperate for a sign of validation. Is this constant second-guessing making you lose your absolute mind? The emotional ground shifts beneath your feet, leaving you completely destabilized. You try to play the nice guy, hoping your kindness will fix her sudden shift in behavior. But your underlying anxiety is on full display, and she can smell it from a mile away. Her oscillation is not a logical problem to solve with romantic gestures. It is a psychological stress test, specifically designed to measure your internal stability. If you attempt to fix her mood, you fail the evaluation metric immediately. You must learn the exact evolution-based protocol to neutralize this screening mechanism entirely. Evolutionary psychology proves that female attraction operates as a continuous security assessment framework. It is a biological mechanism, highly calibrated to detect hidden male desperation. The hot and cold routine is never a random accident or a sign of simple emotional confusion. It is a functional diagnostic tool used to see how you react when the ground shifts. Are you strong enough to stand firm, or will you compromise your masculine core? This entire behavioral dynamic is governed by costly signaling theory. In evolutionary biology, high-quality traits must be verified through tests that low-quality individuals cannot afford to pass. A weak man can easily fake confidence during smooth and highly predictable interactions. He cannot simulate genuine indifference under conditions of intense emotional uncertainty. The psychological cost of remaining calm when the outcome is ambiguous is simply too high for an insecure individual. Therefore, mixed signals act as an infallible biological filter, separating the reactive from the unbothered. To pass this subconscious vetting process, you must deploy 3 specific protocols. First, you must establish an absolute baseline of emotional control. Consider a common scenario where a woman suddenly cancels a planned dinner date with a vague excuse. The typical man reacts with passive-aggressive frustration or immediately begs for an alternative schedule. You must simply accept the data point with total, unshakable detachment. You acknowledge her message with a brief response, and you continue your scheduled evening exactly as planned. Your internal emotional frequency remains completely unchanged because your time is a fixed asset. When you maintain your baseline during sudden cancellations, you trigger an immediate reassessment of your value. Why should her sudden shift in availability have any power over your internal peace? Second, you must treat her behavioral variance as neutral background noise. Picture an interaction where she transitions from intense warmth to sudden detached silence during a conversation. The insecure man immediately leans in to fill the void, nervously asking if something is wrong. You must maintain comfortable eye contact while enjoying your own internal silence. Silence is the ultimate metric of conversational power. You do not allow her temporary withdrawal to dictate your immediate comfort level. You remain perfectly comfortable in your own space, refusing to validate her coldness with your anxiety. When you stand firm like a solid white pillar, the psychological pressure shifts entirely back to her. Will you break under the tension, or will you let her sit in the silence she created? Third, you must reframe the evaluation process as a validation of your high market position. Take a scenario where she mentions a highly successful male acquaintance who recently bought her an expensive gift. She watches your face closely, searching for the slightest sign of envy or sexual insecurity. Most men panic asking competitive questions or downplaying the other guy's success. You do not flinch. You do not engage in the petty competition. You simply smile at her narrative because you understand the standard vetting protocol. Your internal security remains completely uncompromised, signaling absolute self-assurance. Professional observation confirms that an unbothered response to competition signals the highest level of dominance. If you truly know your worth, why would external noise ever threaten your position? However, you must never mistake a compliance test for a complete lack of attraction. There is a critical, definitive boundary between a woman testing your strength and a woman displaying low interest. If she constantly disrespects your time, breaks boundaries, and offers zero effort, she is not testing you. She is rejecting you, and you are completely misreading the map. A high-value man does not sit around waiting for a woman who treats him like a disposable option. Your ultimate power is the willingness to walk through the door and never look back. When you display the strength to move forward, the power dynamic flips completely. Are you ready to walk away? So she drops the game and frantically chases your reality. Mastering the response to mixed signals is the initial phase of absolute emotional autonomy. Your confidence must be real, unshakable, and completely independent of her validation. When you stop chasing the confusion, you force her to provide the clarity you deserve. What is the most confusing hot and cold behavior you have experienced recently? Drop your story in the comments below, and let us dissect the exact psychology behind it. When her screening mechanisms fail to destabilize you, her entire psychological framework transitions. She stops testing your defenses and starts frantically trying to secure your investment. To understand the subtle behavior patterns women display when they realize a man cannot be shaken, you must watch how her compliance changes. We will decode those exact indicators in our next breakdown, so ensure your mindset is fully prepared.